to do it, and people can look at all the books on my bookshelf. Right, I think we're live.
Yeah, and there you go. There you go. Let's close that out, and we are live. How's it going, everyone? Judith Vergara here, and today we are live with Charlene Thompson. Charlene is the owner and founder of Gemstone Love, a company based out of London here. You know, Charlene here is a good friend of mine, and she's done wonders for my mindset, and she's most definitely the kind of friend that you want around if you're in a journey of self-development. Okay, she's gonna drag you straight out of your comfort zone. She actually gave me the push to finally get started on this video blog series where I interview entrepreneurs on the in the spotlight. Is all thanks to Charlene here, and she will be dropping some huge value bombs here today in today's meeting. So don't miss out. Stay until the end. You know, it'll be fun. It'll be an awesome chat. We always have these Sunday masterminds that we do every Sunday morning, but today we feel generous. So we're going to share it with you guys today. So Charlene, give everyone a quick intro. Give us a little glimpse in Charlene Thompson's world.
Hi. Yeah, what Judith said. So, intro into my world. Gemstone Love officially launched on the 17th of July this year. That's the hard launch, as it were. The soft launch was more like in April or something like that. In the daytime, I'm a project manager at an employee engagement company, and so Gemstone Love is my baby. This is what I do in the evening. This is what I do in the weekends. This is what I think of when I'm waking up in the morning. And let me see. I think effectively that is it. I probably want to wait until you ask me some questions so that I don't ramble on, because you know I can just speak in.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah, no, sometimes our powwows end up last week. I think we hit the 3.5 hour mark last week, and that was an awesome session last week. So Charlene,
really good.
Yeah. Charlene, break it out for us. What is your niche? What's your subject matter expertise?
Right. What I'm all about is holistic living. Any business I wanted to create, I knew I'd have to do it holistically. And that meaning to me means I wasn't about to go out there and be the Wolf of Wall Street. Mm-hmm. I could do it. I don't want to do it. It's really tiring. Yeah. It's not good for your soul. I wanted to be balanced. I don't have to go at a speed that anybody else wanted to go at. I didn't have to do the things that everybody said that you should or shouldn't be doing, because I'm really not a fan of the shoulds. And my niche is that I'm living what I'm talking about. So yes, I do sell gemstones, all different kinds for all different purposes, and I do explain what they're for and how I use them. But I'm about holistic living fully. So that means knowing, for example, what contrast is and coming to terms with it and the problems that I'm going through in my personal life. So I wrote a book today about the fact that I'm moving house and how that came about. So, you know, it's just things like that, because, you know, you can read all the spiritual books and you can meditate and you can do your yoga and you can be nice and calm, and then somebody comes to F up your day. You'll have to let me know if you can swear on this thing.
Absolutely.
But I just wanted to be really normal and honest, because what I found when I first started looking into everything and studying things, I couldn't see anybody that was like me. I couldn't see anybody that I felt was still growing. I couldn't even see anybody my age. So, you know, all the people that I was looking up to, the Oprahs of the world, Esther Hickses, everybody like that, you kind of just felt like they'd already gotten to a certain point. And whilst they could tell you about all of the things that used to happen in the past, it was a good 20 years ago. I was a child but at that point. And because I couldn't see anybody that was like me, talking to me about what it's like trying to live in this balanced, harmonious manner without letting people walk over you, because that's a lesson I've had to learn. Because I couldn't see anybody like me sharing their experiences with me, I wanted to just share my experience with other people, because God knows I have many. So that's what I'm about. So any crystal that I sell, I've used. Yeah. And you can tell, you know, I'm no angel. I'm completely human. All because I've been meditating and praying with these crystals for a while now, years and years and years. That does not mean that I've reached some plateau where you just can't get to. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't mean that I've gotten there, because there isn't a there. It means I'm still growing. And that is the really long-winded explanation of what's special about Gemstone.
Yeah. Absolutely. I know I don't think there really is such a thing. Like, we all have these idea of an end game here, but I think at the end of the day, once you reach that goal, it's not exactly the end, because it's your goals suddenly have changed, right? It's progressed onto something bigger, something much better. So I don't think you're right. There's no such thing as there's no end game. There's no, it's always a constant journey of learning, because if you're not growing, then let's face it, you're freaking dying. Right? So
it's one of the things I must have coined this term, or if I didn't coin it term, I got it from somewhere. To me, it's like there's four different versions of life that you could be living at any moment. You're either living, dying, waiting to live, or waiting to die.
That's true.
And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that know a lot of people that are just plain waiting to die. Like, they go to work, they come home, and they only talk about the struggle. Like, nothing good happened today, like as if they're looking forward to the day where they can just sit down and stare at the wall. And then when they're sitting down and staring at the wall, they'll be thinking about the olden times where it was good, back when they were 40 and they could do stuff.
Yeah.
And then obviously, the waiting to lives. The one day when I'm this rich, or when I'm just this happy, or I'm this healthy, then I'll do this. And I was sitting in the waiting to live for a long time, I think.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like I can say it.
Yeah. Now, Charlene, okay, we're about to get raw. Okay. You're, again, like you asked earlier, you're allowed to swear. You're just be you, just do you. Just do you. Do Charlene, right? Now we're about to get raw, okay? Don't hold back. Don't pull back any punches. Just let her all out, okay? Now tell us about your rock bottom moment. As a person, as an entrepreneur, just tell us about your lowest point in time, in life, right? Rock bottom moment by far.
Ever.
Yeah, like low moment, that when you realize pretty much that, okay, something's got to give here, something's got to change. That kind of rock bottom moment.
I feel like I have kind of two lives, as in the one that started from when I was born, and then the one from the emancipation, as I refer to it.
Yeah.
So I would have to say then maybe the rock bottom was probably the point when I realized I needed to emancipate myself. So I'll explain that.
Okay.
I'm 30 now. When I was 21, January 4th or 10th, I can't remember, whatever the Friday was in that particular year, I left, or that day was delivered a letter to all of my immediate relatives saying I didn't want anything to do with them anymore and I was leaving, and they never heard from me again. That's what I mean by emancipation. So the lowest point, that was probably looking back at it, wasn't the lowest point. The actual lowest point was when I realized I am, it's a big long history, but basically not a happy family life. Looked like the Cosby Show from the outside. It was not, I can assure you. And the lowest probable point was when I was walking back up to my parents' house, and I thought to myself, and I don't know why, but I thought to myself, if I had children, I wouldn't be able to leave them in the house alone with them. Not my parents, not my siblings, no, not one of them. And I thought, there's something wrong with this. And I was just coming up to the driveway. I can remember, I think I must have just been out of eyesight. If you were looking out of the window, you just about wouldn't have been able to see me.
Yeah.
There's something on my phone. You just about wouldn't have been able to see me. And I don't know where the thought came from, because I don't have any children. I was not planning to have any at the time. I was just like, I couldn't leave them in the house alone with these people. And I was just like, that's it. That's the final bit. And so I didn't even leave for me. I left for children I don't even have yet. Which, the killer of it all, because I don't even know if I even have it now. So that's where it came from, whoever it did come from. But I was just like, no, this is not okay. Because if I couldn't leave children in the house alone with these people, why am I here? And that was the lowest point. And then it's been high ever since,
That's
quite
awesome.
frankly.
Yeah.
So,
Oh man, that's
very short
awesome.
story.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And if there's one thing that I learned from you is that it doesn't matter how messed up situations is, you could always bounce back. And like you've said, right? Like it's been high ever since. And yeah, like I said earlier, Charlene is the kind of friend that you want to be hanging around with because she drags me around in these high times of her, and I like it. I
Why do you
really.
guys do it too? Come on.
That's true. Yeah. She drags me around in these high moments of her, and yeah, it's been awesome. You know, I like I said, I had a rough go about a couple weeks ago, and after our 3 hour powwow, 3 hour mastermind last week, and yeah, it's been high ever since. She's been yeah, I've been tagging along on the ride with her. Yeah.
It's been
So
good. I've been watching you read it.
yeah, thank you. So Charlene, from there, how did you improve upon that, right? Like you said, you decided that you need to make a change for your future, right? For children that you don't even have. So what action steps did you take to improve upon that?
Okay. So without going into nitty-gritty, you can imagine what strange things happen when you do something that you don't know anybody else ever on the planet has done. You know, sure, some people have done it somewhere, but you don't know anybody, and everybody thinks you're crazy, and you're only 21, so you know they think you're kind of dumb, and you don't really know what you're talking about. And it's just an argument that children have parents, and it'll be perfectly fine. Because yeah, arguments really cause that kind of separation. But okay, what steps did I do? I got really, really far. I really drilled in my day. I was a budding project manager back then. Um, I got certified, and I just went heads down. I'm pretty good at what I do. So I kind of just went hell for leather with that, and I threw myself a lot into work. But I had been spiritually wise. I was first introduced into this kind of world through yoga when I was about 16 or 17. And then, of course, Secret came out in 2006. So I was starting off with those practices. It was mostly yoga. It wasn't really that much meditation because I try, but my mind goes a million miles a minute. So, and I'm also incredibly impatient. I'm better now, but was desperately impatient. So I just kept reading. I kept reading and I kept working. I had to keep myself to myself for a little while. In When was it now? I think maybe 2011. 2011 or 2012. It was probably 2011. I went to therapy. So I did a lot of work on my own. I did a lot of work meditating, praying, just thinking things through, listening to things about how the universe works and contrast, which for those who don't know, contrast is effectively, when you say good and bad, there really isn't a bad. It's contrast. It's like going on a trampoline. You have to bounce down before you can spring up. And so that just happens to everybody all day long, and it's relative. So what happened to me, some people will never experience in their life, thank goodness. But also, I've never gone for hungry. Do you see what I mean? I've never slept. I've always had a bed. So it really is. It is a relative thing, but you still do need to have your contrast to bounce back up. And for a while, I didn't like that. For a while, I didn't like the fact that I had to experience all of that growing up just to get to where I am now. I'm nowhere great now. No. Not thinking that actually I'm gonna, stay on this planet for a while yet. I've got things to do, and it will carry on teaching me. So that's why I'm still bouncing. I'm still rebounding off of everything that happened then. And obviously life still goes on, so I've still got it. So I did a lot of reading. I'm still doing a lot of reading. And just basically finding myself. So I refer to my emancipation 9 years ago as the actual meanness when I could actually be myself. So it's becoming myself. It's learning who I am. And I like myself. I'm pretty good.
That's good. Yeah.
I was getting better, but that's what it's been about. It's been being able to discover who I am and being happy with it, because for so long I wasn't allowed to be who I was. There was a
Right.
major problem with it. It didn't go down well. So that's what it's been about. It's been discovering me without sounding too narcissistic.
Yeah. Oh no, that's perfectly fine, right? At some point, people would think that it's narcissistic, but at some point, you gotta. It's that's such a powerful thing when you say, "Oh, I love me, I like me." That's something that's
Yeah.
very powerful that a lot of people should really realize themselves. It all starts with you. How could you expect to stand in front of the camera and have a lot of
Mm.
people love you when you can't even, when you're projecting in there that you can't even tolerate yourself, right? It's a little weird, for lack of a better term there.
It
you
is.
know
I remember what it
yeah.
felt like to not love
Yeah.
yourself. You
Hmm.
know, without going back into it again, like I said, I spent a long time believing that it was impossible to love me, um, because that's pretty much how I was treated. And
Hmm.
so when that's been drilled into you rather, for since birth, effectively, you're worthless, you're stupid, you're not going to amount to anything. All of
Mm.
this kind of, oh, the slutness as well, you're a whore. All of that, especially the you're stupid. I think that's probably what got to me the
Yeah.
most.
Yeah.
When you do feel like you're unlovable, you start to believe it because you're being
Yeah.
treated like you're unlovable and you can't then do anything right. And you're a child, so these things go over in your head again. And you do just have to recognize at some point that is completely bogus.
Oh.
It's
Yeah.
just absolutely bogus. And you're going to have to look yourself in the mirror and just say, you know what, I love you. I may
Yeah.
not be able to do it all the time, but sometimes just going to your bed at night time when you finish brushing your teeth and you can look yourself in the mirror
Yeah.
and just go, you know what,
Yeah.
go to bed. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, I know. As it says, every time we have our Sunday mastermind, I always refer to the book "You Are a Badass." I'm just straight up in love with that
Yeah,
book. I'm pretty sure you could
I
put it
know.
together by now. But yeah, no, there's a chapter in there that says self-perception is a zoo, which it is really.
Huh?
Everything that you're ashamed of, everything that you're scared of, you imposed it on yourself. No one else did, right? So
Mm-mm.
it's all self-perception. And as soon as you learn to say, fuck it, just screw it, just do it anyway, and put your self-perception aside, and everything, a lot of these things change, right?
Yeah,
Now,
and at the beginning,
yeah.
you lie to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. It's this one thing that's just, yeah, it's so liberating doing that, right?
Mm,
So
yeah.
so now, Charlene, as an entrepreneur or as a person, really, in a personal level, what has been or is your most brilliant light bulb moment today?
Oh my God. Um, there's been many moments when I've gone, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Right? But one that's definitely recent
Mm-hmm.
is when I realized that I actually need my company. It's
Mm.
not something. It's not a hobby, as some people
No.
like to say or whatever. It's not this little thing that I'm just doing to get a little bit of pocket money. This is my business,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I actually needed it. And I'll tell you for why. I kind of started this year really not knowing what was going on. I was all over the place. I felt like I was banging my head against a brick wall. Long story short, started the company, felt good about it, was working on something to do with it every single day, in or out every single day, and not out of militant need to do it, just because there was lots of stuff to do. I wanted to do it. So I did it. Um, and then it got really busy in my day job. And I thought to myself, okay, it's super busy. I'm not going to have the brain power to work on Gemstone Love for the next couple of weeks. Everything's fine anyway. The website's still being built. Everything's been written. Everything's there. It's fine. It's not a problem. And
Yeah.
then I got to the end of the 2 weeks and I felt like shit. And I couldn't really figure out why. It was like not eating, eating terribly for like 2 weeks straight and not
Yeah.
exercising or anything. That's what it felt like. But I had been
Yeah.
doing all those other things. I was just like, it's this. This is what is balancing out the stress of the day job, weirdly.
Yeah.
because it's not like as if I'm completely overrun in my day job. That's just not true. But it gets really annoying sometimes
Yeah.
when you just have to, everybody has it in their day job. And
Hmm.
actually, Gemstone Love, because it's so different and because it speaks to a different side of me, it's feeding
Yeah.
that side. It is like doing more yoga, more meditation. It is like studying more because everything I'm
Yeah.
building, I always say you don't really finish learning until you start teach it.
Hmm.
Until you start. And because I hadn't been doing it, I just wasn't balanced anymore. So
Hmm.
once I'd balanced myself with Gemstone Love, I realized I actually need it. It's
Mm.
not a case of, I can put this aside for a little while to
Yeah.
do my day job, and I can't put my day job aside for a little while to do
Yeah.
this either. I need both in
Yeah.
order to remain balanced. And that was really big. I was probably sitting right here and I went, oh, huh, okay then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's yeah.
it's not a if or whatever. It's a this is. This
Hmm.
isn't going anywhere. It's not a phase. This is just how life is now. Accept it and let's keep going.
Yeah,
Really.
absolutely. It's all about balance. And like you said, you have to treat it like a real business. Just because you don't have a corner store of, you walk in, you have all these
Yeah.
stones and whatnot, right? That doesn't mean that it's not real business. It's not just a hobby or anything, right? Like you see, most
Mm,
people, the main reason why 97% staggering amount of entrepreneurs fail, online entrepreneurs
mm,
to be specific, is that they don't treat it as a business. They treat it as something I do for fun, right? It's just a
yeah.
hobby, but it's not a hobby. You have to treat it like a real business in order for it to function as a real business, right? and
Mm,
and yeah, you're right, it's all about balance. You have to find what works for you in order for you to actually get it to flow smoothly. And yeah, you're right there. At some point it becomes like you take a day off and you're like, no, I actually need this to keep me whole as a person, like personally, right? That's
yeah.
how I feel,
Yeah.
right? if
Yeah.
i if
It's
I
feeding you
don't.
back. You get something
Yes,
from it.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
at some point it
Let's not
becomes
please
more.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. At some point it becomes more than just the money, as just like I you shamefully exposed my limiting belief last week. um, at some point it becomes more about, it's at some point it becomes more than just the sales, more than just the money, but at some point it becomes
Mm.
about what it feeds to you. And like I said, you rudely you gave me a rude awakening, but I appreciate it. I loved it.
But you were talking yourself into this hole anyway. I just pushed you.
Yeah, you
That
push me.
was it.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that, because if you didn't do that, then we would not have entrepreneur in the spotlight, and I wouldn't be able to realize that, hey, you know what? Actually doing what makes you happy would get you to crush your goals. I'm making friends, and because of that, I building relationships is how my business functions as a business,
Mm.
how it grows as a business. And I really appreciate you for doing that and actually slapping me awake. So Charlene,
Thank you very much. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're an amazing friend. In all honesty, right?
Thank
Guys,
you.
if
And
you
you.
yeah, guys, if you okay, listen, if you're in a journey of personal development, Charlene is a must. She's a must. She's a person
Thank
that you
you.
should be following on Instagram. She has these live videos that happens in there on the regular, and you need to listen to it. Now, Charlene, what held you back from going all in?
Earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, what held
Um,
you? Yeah.
I didn't know I'd be doing this. I think, as with everything, you're kind of writing a book as you go along. And if you were to look back at some of the chapters now, you'd go, well, yeah, you knew here and here and here. And you remember that time when you were just staring at these stones for no good reason? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there. Um, so I think it was a little bit about knowledge as well. It's a bit funny. I mean, this year, like I said, when I was banging my head against a brick wall and then I stopped and then I kind of just got clear for a little bit, I
Mm-hmm.
had a load of ideas. It's like once I sort of gave up, all of these ideas just kept coming to me. And so I started a black hair blog, and
Mm-hmm.
um, I started writing a book, and I started writing 2 different books as well, because I'm only just now learning how to drive. I started writing 2 different books, and they were going. And what else? I started putting all of my DIY lotion recipes online and all sorts, and I just kept going, and it wouldn't stop. Like once I just gave up and was just like, I'm going to have to do something. Then I woke up in the morning with one idea and another idea and another idea. I even set up one of the meetup groups or something as well. And then I had this idea, and again, this is dumb. It's so funny. I had this idea, and it was sort of cool. And so I started looking into it, and then I started looking into it. And one by one, I started closing up the other things that I was doing. And it wasn't until maybe a month ago that I realized every single last one of the other little baby projects I was doing, I learned things from all of them that I'm bringing into this. Mm-hmm. So the blogging that I was doing and the hair stuff that I had never blogged with before, because I did all of that months ago, the writing blogging anyway, it doesn't scare me. So I just went straight into this like it was nothing. The meetup group that I set up in terms of just talking to people and finding out what goes on with them has helped me to be able to just have this conversation with you now, because I was not very good at being openly vulnerable, as it were, because this live Facebook interview would not have happened, let's say 4 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago. I can assure you it wasn't going to happen. It would have had to have been recorded, and we would have both had to look at it afterwards and possibly edited it. It would never happen live. And it's just really weird. So all of those things that I closed down and I felt bad about closing down, they were all preparing me for this. I didn't know that this is what this was going to be. I had an idea from one of the many entrepreneurial style podcasts that I was listening to, and it just kept growing. And of all the things I started off, this is the one that when I woke up in the morning, I started going, oh, and I could do this, and I could have a forum, and I could have a vote page, and I can have a blog, and I can do this, and I can do that, and I can do that. At lunchtime, it came back into my head again. The rest of them just disappeared in my head. Once I had the beginning idea, then it just started to grow itself, and it just overtook everything else. I'm just like, I'm going to have to listen to that, because I can't do all of these things and this.
Yeah.
So it took so long because I really didn't give myself room to breathe, I think is why. I need to give myself room to just realize that what I could see in front of me wasn't necessarily the be all and end all. I need to give myself some headspace to receive the messages, as it were, as to go this way. You're not that far away from me. You need to be just go slightly this way, and everything else will come from just tuning a tiny bit to the left. And that was it. There was no big shift. There was no wake up in the morning, I'm going to start a Gemstone Love company. It's going to be great. That didn't happen. It was just move a tiny bit this way, and then dip, dip, dip. It was just one step at a time.
Right. Yeah.
When I was ready.
Yeah.
Again, big long speeches. Sorry.
Yeah. It's not about, like taking this one huge leap. It's the baby steps that would lead up to this big thing, right? Like when you're driving, you don't slam on it and go to like 100 kilometers an hour right away. No, you start at like 10, 20, 30 until you reach 100. And it's exactly what you mean there. And yes, absolutely. If there's one thing that I always take away from our weekly mastermind there. I keep calling it powwow. What's wrong with me? Our weekly, our weekly mastermind there is that nothing is an accident, right? There's no such thing as coincidences. This happened because this is something that would contribute to a future version of yourself, as hard as it is, as tough as this situation is, but it's something that would contribute to who you become. Just like how, in 2012, I always talk about that. I was going through massive depression after college, but if I didn't go through that year, then I wouldn't be the person that I am today. I wouldn't be the person that knows what it's like to be in that position, to be a person that knows that you actually have to put in work in order to get stuff going for you. You can't just be handed everything on a silver platter, right? That's it just doesn't happen like that. So yes, there's no such thing as accidents. And there's a time that I beat myself up for joining a network marketing company and spending all that money buying products and nothing coming in. But then if I
Mm.
didn't join that network marketing company, it wouldn't have brought me to where I am today, which is, it would not, because that was the starting point. And from there, it was a, it was an event that led to another event that led to another event. And pretty much, like you said, small baby steps every day. And here we are today. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah. Damn,
Yeah.
Charlene,
No,
you're
I had
just,
a similar one
yeah,
as well. There was a big old spend for this
yeah.
property gig that I was going to be going in, and I spent a lot of money, and I'm still paying it off. But I'm so
Mhm.
glad I did it. A, I learned
Yeah.
a lot,
Yeah.
and B,
Absolutely.
that was the only thing that made me realize that I could actually do
Hmm.
something different because I just wasn't there yet. I needed to do that, and it might have worked out, and it shouldn't have because I really wouldn't want to be in that game right now.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm
Yeah,
with
no,
you.
absolutely. Yeah, no, I always tell myself that going to college was a waste of time for me, Going to college,
Mm.
graduating for college, it's a waste of time for me. But then if I did not do that, then I wouldn't be a professional friend maker right now, being in sales during the day.
Because that's
That's
when
what
you
I call
honed your
myself.
skills.
That's right. That's how I honed my skill into becoming a professional friend maker. I like that's a self title that it's a title I
No,
gave
I like
myself
it.
recently. Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
it. No,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
don't
I
you worry.
wouldn't.
Like I didn't even go to university,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
no,
See?
I filled out the
Yeah.
forms, and our university is your college, I think.
Yeah.
I think.
Something like that. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and I filled out all the forms, and I did not post them. I didn't want to go. I
Yeah,
wanted to go and
actually,
work, so I went and I
yeah.
worked.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
It worked out well for me.
Here in Canada, it's pretty similar. Going university, and your university is the same college. Is more for like tech school, right? I'm a university
Yeah.
reject, and I took that really hard. I'm a university reject. They're like, you won't make it here. I wanted to become a physics teacher in the beginning, but because of that I was a university reject for a reason, right? I went to
Mm,
college instead because of a thing that would happen in the future, and this and this and this, and here we are today,
mm.
you know so now,
Yeah.
Charlene, yeah,
Yeah.
from there,
Yeah.
share with us the best advice that you've ever received.
I watched the previous show that you did with Crystal Willis where you asked that question,
Oh,
and you're going to laugh at me when I say to you the first thing that came to my head. I don't know if this was the best advice, but this is what came
yeah.
to my head. So this is
When,
what I'm going to share with you. One of my aunts, those aunts that aren't really related to you at all,
yeah.
when when I was very young, so, just coming into puberty and things like that, she
Hmm.
looked at me and she said, "You're going to have to learn how to stand up properly because you
Yeah.
see your grandmother right there." And I looked at a picture of my granny. She's like, she's got breasts. And just like, you're going to have breasts like that.
Hmm.
So you're going to need to walk like a duck. That's
Yeah.
bottom out, breasts up, shoulders back. And it's probably, other than my award winning smile, my stature, how I hold myself, is probably the one thing people comment on the most, almost to the point where just like, oh, well, you just look like you know what you're talking about when you walk into a room, just like, I haven't even said anything. And just
Yeah.
like, it's because of how I hold myself, it's because of how I stand myself. I don't walk around like this.
Yeah.
Certainly not anymore anyway. And I've always remembered that it's seen me in good stead. If I'm being perfectly honest. It's walk like you know where you're going, effectively.
Yeah.
I grew up in Croydon, which you won't know where that is, but it's not. I love Croydon, but it used to have a bad reputation. Let's say not terribly bad, but bad enough. And so, when you have people realize that you're from Croydon, just like, oh well, you speak so well, and just like I speak English, like everyone.
Yeah.
But they'd say things like, well, isn't there loads of muggings or whatever? I'm just like, well, no, but there are a few bad people. You just need to know how to walk when you're on the road. So walk like you know where you're going. If you walk like you're looking to get mugged, you're gonna get mugged.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Yeah.
straightforward. And I think it all comes with that, because even in my lowest times, it's the way I hold myself.
Yeah.
Not like as if I'm above anybody else. I'm not. It's impossible to be. But I know who I am. So,
Yeah.
butt out, boobs out, shoulders back.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Breathe.
Yeah, no. it's always in equals out, right? Like you said, if you walk around looking like you're gonna get mugged, guess what? There he is around the corner.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
sorry, you just don't want that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, I've always
Yeah.
believed that it's whatever your the vibrations you put out there is what's gonna come into you. I believe that. I
Yeah,
straight
it
up.
just
Yeah.
is. It's a really difficult lesson to learn, but you're gonna learn it at some
Yeah.
point. So best
Yeah.
now,
That's
really.
true. Yeah, like don't do it the hard way, like I did or you did or whatever, right?
Mm,
Don't just walk in our footprints, right? Don't just learn from
yeah,
our mistakes. Don't commit it yourself, right?
yeah.
So
It's really long-winded.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So Charlene, do you have a personal habit that's a must that you do every day, that contributes to your productivity or your mindset or your daily, daily routine? What's a
I
personal
meditate
habit?
every day, every
Mm,
morning.
awesome.
Um,
Yeah.
so I have generally a pretty strict routine anyway. It went
Hmm.
out of whack in the last few weeks or so, or since I came back from Jamaica, really,
Hmm.
because of all of the other contrasting things that have just been happening. And I realized I just handle things better when I actually stick to that routine. But
Yeah.
the thing that always happens every day, regardless, is the 15 minutes of meditation.
Mm, yeah.
Um, and I try to do my gratitude bit before then, but often I just end up falling back asleep, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Um, but that 15 minutes, and I'm not fully, I think I've said this to you before, I'm never fully in the zone for the whole time. I never have
Mm,
been. I've been meditating for years now, and no, it just doesn't work out.
yeah.
But it's the one thing I have to do.
Yeah.
There's just no point me trying to get up. I've been late for work before because I've been too much in my head and I haven't done my meditation. And what you should do at this point is just jump up, get in the shower, and go. And I've still done the meditation and then jumped up and
Mm,
got in the shower and went,
yeah. Yeah.
because there's just no point. That's one thing I stopped arguing with right at the beginning of this year. There's no point me trying to do anything without even giving my mind a chance to balance itself out. It might not necessarily do it, but the fact that you're even trying to give your mind a chance to do it sets you in a very different, on a very different road. I think, if I'm being personally honest, it's like personal respect for yourself.
Mm,
Give yourself a chance. Nobody else is going to. Like, even if
mm,
you've got somebody that you're waking up to in the morning, they can't give you the chance to just be balanced for yourself. You have to do that. So even if
yeah.
it's just a possibility, give yourself the 15 minutes to even try. Even if you don't get there, even if you don't get there or don't feel the zen or
Mhm.
whatever, just try.
Yeah.
And that alone, I have to do that every day as a bare
Yeah.
minimum.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I always like, I think, what was it, like probably 4 or 6 weeks ago now, right? That I told you that I started
mm,
meditating and I do at least 5 minutes a day.
mm,
It was only the very first time that I did meditation that was actually in the zone for like 3 minutes straight. Other than that, it's like 30 seconds, a minute, 30
yeah.
seconds, and then boom, I'm gone again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, yeah, no, meditation is a big thing. At some point, you got to stop putting out and start receiving, and that's what I feel happens when I'm meditating. Right, I turn off my
Mm,
brain and I just let the universe do whatever it wants.
yeah.
Right.
And if you're, I think I'm gonna have to blog about this at some point because it's something that I really
You should.
experienced. The need for control, the idea that you're receiving from the universe and you don't know who the universe is, you don't know what they've got planned for you.
Mm,
You kind of don't want to let them in. You're just opening your door to who for what? What do you want here, really? I don't want you sending me off on some path that I don't really want to go on. And that's the whole
mm,
point. It will never be something that you don't really want to go on.
yeah.
When you're actually receiving any messages that you're going to get, any nudges, any feelings you're going to get, you're going to want to do. Even if
Mm,
it just feels weird at first, it's probably just scary. It's not an absolute, I don't want to do this.
yeah.
It never is. It never is. And also, you have to remember, for those that have some control issues like me, the universe is everything. Your God, the universe, spirit, energy, whatever you want to use, it's everything, and that everything includes you.
Mm,
It's not everything else. It includes you. So it's the you that can see everything in one go that's going, actually, do you know what would be best for Charlene? Do this. But you and your body just can't get all of that because there's only so much brain power we can use at any one time. The universe includes you. So it has your best interests at heart because you are it, the universe. You're part of it. So it's the same thing. And it took me a while to get that, I think. Really.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You just gotta let go and just see how it goes. Like that's for the most part. That's why we take that's why a lot of people don't take action, is because they don't have control of the outcome, and it scares the shit out of them. Right? I know it scared the absolute heck out of me at one point, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this, but I don't know what's gonna happen, because there was a point in time as well that I had this obsession with control. I have to control everything that happens. I have to control every single outcome that would happen. This was when I ran my first business when I was 21. I have absolutely no control of the fact that whether or not my client is going to stay with me. And that drove me absolutely insane, that I tried to do as much as I can. I tried to go above, way more than above and beyond for them, right? Just so I could keep them happy and all that stuff. And all it did really was stress me out, get me all burnt out. And I was drained pretty much to a point where I said, okay, this is not the industry for me. This business needs to go. And I sold it. And then after that, at some point, I just said, you know what? This whole time, nothing is really within my control. So why not just let go? Just let it go and let it happen. Let it happen. Because as I've learned is that there's no such thing as coincidences, right? The universe, it's not like they're just going to throw a curveball at you just to throw you down and let you die there, right?
No.
It will happen because it will be something that would contribute to your growth, to your future version, right? And that's something, And that's exactly
we're all interconnected anyway, so it will probably have something to do with somebody else as well. Like, even on the contrasting side, the stuff that went on this week, oh my word.
Yeah.
It got to a point where I'll have to tell you about it after this live Facebook. Sorry, Facebook.
Not for you.
But seriously, it got to the point and I just went, this isn't about me. Like, everything got so bad and I was just a part of it, but I had to just step back for a second, look at it and just like, this is about you. I just happen to be up in the mix, but this is not me. This is actually you. This is your thing. It's like, oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
But hey, so it happens in both ways. But that was a really weird realization.
Yeah. Sorry, Facebook. That story is for our private mastermind.
Yep, sorry.
So I honestly believe, like, I barely go through like those. I barely go through I barely scroll through the Facebook groups. But for some reason that day I scrolled through the Facebook group and I found you. You were looking for a skill swap thing. I thought this was going to be a one-time exchange deal, but you know what? 2 months later, we're still here. We're still having our weekly. I think so. 2, maybe more, maybe less. I don't know, but it's still here. It's gone way beyond the skill swap trade one-time deal now. We've become friends. You drag me out of my comfort zone. I drag you out of your comfort zone, and it's just that post I shared the other day on Instagram. I water your grass, you water mine, and then we just keep on growing together.
And it's good. Don't you find this is probably one of the first things we spoke about, really, was the fact that when you have decided to become an entrepreneur, I find that word so difficult to say. There's too many syllables. When you realize that you're doing this, you're doing it, you just can't have conversations with everybody like you used to.
No.
Because A, not all of your friends will understand. B, not all of your friends will be supportive. C, some of your friends will be too supportive and expect for you to be God all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And you just can't have a normal conversation where you just say, do you know what? I'm really struggling with this. And when you say you're really struggling with it, you don't mean I want to stop, which is what some friends might think you want to mean. You just say, oh, well, do you want to give it a break? No. If you're talking to another entrepreneur, they know you don't mean Do you want to give it a break and just put it on pause for a little while? They know that you just need to speak. You just need to
Yeah.
speak it out. You just need to share it and
Hmm.
just give yourself 5 minutes to go, okay, now I'm back in the room. You tell
Yeah.
that to somebody else who doesn't know, who isn't in the game, then they don't act right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you just end up annoyed at people, and it's not their fault because they don't know any
Mhm.
better. You're asking the wrong people the wrong questions. That's why you're
Yeah.
getting the wrong answers.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you said to me last week, there was a point in time that the people that's surrounding you right now, you guys are on the same level, but now that you've grown and they've stayed linear and you have your sights all the way up, right? That now the fall suddenly seems a lot higher, even when the fact that you used to be there, right? Like I think that's
Mm,
what you were telling me last time, right? Like that
mm,
that when you have a rough day, it just seems like the fall is that much higher just because you're grown, you've grown and
yeah,
you're at such much a higher level now
yes, and
that
that's not a comparative thing at all.
no.
I'm
Yeah.
I came up with a really good analogy, I think,
Mm.
earlier on. You know what I'm like in my analogies.
Yes.
It's like you're waiting for a bus, right? And you two friends are waiting for two different buses,
Yeah.
and they're on opposite ends of the street.
Yeah.
Now, if one of you's got more time than the other, one might follow the other one to one bus stop and wait for their bus to come so you can put them on the bus. However,
Yeah.
if you're both doing stuff and you're both going in two separate directions, you're going to need to go in those two separate directions and get on that bus. That's not to say that you're never going to see each other again. It just means that you're going to be up somewhere else in the line, just not right now. And
Mm.
so sometimes conversation just won't go right now because you're just going in two different directions. The connection is cutting out. It's not to say it's going to come back again because we're cool, but it just won't work for right now. It
No.
just won't. And I've been on the receiving end of it. I've been on the giving end of it, but it's only now that I've really understood it. There's nothing personal about it. It's just you're going through your own version of the tunnel. Your connection is not going to
Yes.
be okay
Yeah.
with their connection right now. But
Yeah.
when you get out, it'll be fine, and we'll go for lunch.
Yeah.
That's all it is. When you're doing this, it's the whole, it's like the six people you surround yourself with, la la la. Everybody knows it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even
Yeah.
as dire as that. You don't have to get rid of all your friends. You just need to
No.
be able to put up boundaries,
Yeah.
and your friends need to be able to respect those.
Yeah.
That it's that simple.
Yeah. How
Difficult
many?
but
Yeah.
simple.
Yeah. How many people have said that, oh, you think you're too good for me now when
Oh God.
in reality that's not it, hey, I never said I'm too good for you, just let me
Mm,
have this doesn't
mm,
mean that we're friends off now because no,
no.
like you said, right, we'll go out for lunch, right,
Yeah.
just let
It's
me
nothing.
just let me do this, just let me do this,
Mm,
okay, I promise you, like you said, right, like you'll come back, right,
mm,
and the analogy I gave was like, listen, okay, I want to listen to nice pop music. You wouldn't
yeah.
expect me to listen to CBC or BBC on the
Mm,
radio station, or because then what I'd learn is have listen to some radio drama or listen to some news, and that's not really what
yeah.
I want right now. I just want to listen to pop music. That doesn't mean
Yeah.
that I'm never gonna listen to that radio station. I
Mm.
will at some point,
But it's even what
right?
you said as well at the beginning. Just let me do this. Just give
Mm-hmm.
me this. How
Yeah.
is it we've managed to get ourselves in our friendships and our relationships where we have to say, just let me
Mm-hmm.
to do something that actually only concerns you? Because I felt like that as well. Just give me, just give me this space, please. And
Yeah.
it's just like, actually, why do you even have to say that? It's my space.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to ask anybody to give it to me. It's mine. And
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because we have phones now and we just didn't, 100 years ago or whatever, and we're all up in each other's spaces because it's mobile phones, so you're texting or whatever, everybody's online all the time. But actually, no, I am a person that does need my own space. All my friends know that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a given. But I need a little bit more now than
Yeah.
I used to. And that's just going to have to be the new normal because it is the new
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah, like
So,
at the end of the day, it's still about you, what you want, right? You can't be going around and pleasing other people because that's just not really going to
yeah,
get you anywhere. You can be like,
yeah.
oh no, I can't be doing this right now because Charlene wants to hang out, even if I don't.
Yeah.
right?
I mean, look at we've had a few phone calls where we both messaged each other going, we're not going to make this call.
No, yeah, no.
It's just like cool.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen right now. So yeah,
Yeah, that's fine.
there's
I'm not
no
taking it
question.
personally. You've got a life. You're doing stuff. So
you're doing
we'll
stuff.
chat when we can chat. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's no big deal. I mean, there's gonna be like an infinite amount of Sundays again. So
yeah, it's fine. It's no big deal. It's all good.
Yeah, exactly. So Charlene, at this point, what is the one thing that you're really, really super pumped about? You're super excited about?
What, with the business or generally?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tell us a little bit more about
that. Next week, I'll be redoing my marketing setup. When I did the first couple months worth of marketing plan, as it were, I did a very high level year marketing plan, and then I did a small one and got some stuff together. When I did the first one, I didn't really know what I was doing. It was quite scary. This time around, I still don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm not so scared about it. I'm quite excited. I know I can fiddle with things, and if I do this then and I do this here, then if I can just focus direction in this way or that way, then that might work. And I'm starting to enjoy it because what it's like when you're just building stuff up. You don't even feel the enjoyment for a little bit because you're just nervous. You're excited, but you're nervous. You're really, really nervous the whole time. And then you kind of get to come down off of it a bit. But now I can just enjoy it. There is I do have goals. Don't get me wrong. I do have goals. There's things that I'm shooting to go for by a certain period of time, but there really is no timeline because this is not something that it's not something that I'm saying, oh, well, if I don't get to this amount by 6 months, then I'm closing up shop. No. It's something that's going to be here for a while. It's the reason why I had to battle all of the friendly arguments against me actually having a website. And it's like, no, I want a website. I'm not doing it. See, Etsy's lovely and good, but it's for handmade stuff, and I don't make any of this stuff myself, so I'm not trying to go into it breaking my integrity at the very first hurdle.
No.
So I'm just excited to start enjoying things again and just going with the flow and talking to people. I'm talking to a lot more people now, and it's really nice because you just realize so many more people are in this circle, and you just like, I'm not so alone anymore.
Yeah,
I'm not so alone.
Yeah,
it's like we can talk about this, and neither one of us is weird.
Yeah.
It's nice.
He's like, look, Mom, I have friends.
I know. It's like, this is where my
people are. Yeah. No. This is something that I always say to my audience, to my students, to my, this is not a get rich quick scheme. Okay. If that's what you're into, if you want some get rich quick scheme, then you can unfriend me now. You could unsubscribe to my email list now because I want nothing to do with that. Okay. If you don't see results within 6 months, well, that's just the thing, okay? You're building a sustainable business. You can't just expect for it to happen in a snap because, like I said, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. You have to build the skill sets that you need, like you said, right? Like you're learning to become a better marketer, And at some point, you can't just say that, okay, this has to be perfect. No, in the beginning, you have to be willing to be incompetent, right? As bad as that sounds. Yeah. And then from there, you improve upon that. Yeah. You have to be willing to incompetent and just take action. And then that's where then just improve upon that. And you have to enjoy the process. Do not be addicted to the end result, but be addicted to the process. Because if you do, you shift your focus to that. It actually is really, really fun.
Yeah, it's just really, and not being funny, but how many times have you read that before and you didn't really get it until you started doing it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, plenty of times.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And it really, you do just need to do it. You don't need to throw everything out of the house or whatever. You don't need to make a big, huge leap, but make some kind of leap. And then once you just keep going, the momentum is with you. It's behind you. Do you know what I mean? You do just need to do it to realize that actually the water's all right in here. It's not so bad. I can do this. It gets a bit scary every now and again, but I'm floating. I'm floating. Or because I want to float, I will float.
Yeah.
And it's up to me how fast I go.
Yeah. So I'm Filipino, and Filipinos just naturally swim, but not for me. I didn't just naturally swim. because there was just like, oh, I don't know. I don't even know if I could dive in. I'm just scared, I'm like, but I don't
Yeah.
understand what I'm so scared of. It's water. I drink it. I conquer it every single day. I drive through it. Well, at the time I was like 6 or 7, but anyway, like it's around me every day. I conquer it. I wash my
Yeah.
hands with it. But why can't I just dive in? What am I so scared of? Until
Yeah.
one day I just said, I don't know how to dive, but screw it. And I had one of those when you dive, you just slap and it just hurts. You're
Oh,
red all over. But I'm
yeah.
like, okay, well, that's the first step. And then from there, I just kept going. And then, yeah, so like I said, right, you got to be incompetent in the beginning and then you just perfect from there. So yeah, and then, yeah, it's fun. Now I love swimming. I'm addicted to it. I'm now a water girl, water person. So
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So Charlene, before we end this, give our audience here a quick parting piece of wisdom, parting piece of guidance. What would you, if say your microphone right now is connected to everyone in the world, and they could understand you, they could hear you loud and clear, they understand you. What is one thing that you would like to tell them so they could take away out of today's hangout?
My biggest learning, and I keep getting this on a regular basis, it's the first learning, it'll be the last learning, is to get quiet, listen, and trust yourself. Because sometimes the words that are going around our head when we haven't gotten quiet are just echoes. They are not new words. They're echoes of things that's happened in the past, just reverberating around your skull.
Yes.
If you actually get quiet long enough for the echoes to die out, and you listen to the real you in there, where sometimes you feel it in your gut, it's not necessarily just words, it depends how you translate information effectively. If you do just listen and trust what you're receiving, and then just tentatively take a step in that direction and then another one, it's going to seem really, really, really scary, because you can't justify where you're getting this random weird idea from. You certainly probably can't even talk to anybody about it. Sometimes you're getting these ideas in the shower or when you're brushing your teeth or things like that, but you do need to go. You need to go, because that's where you're going to find a joy in your life. And that's it. That's just it. You don't want to be sitting down looking and saying, oh, I wonder what would have happened if I had done that. And then you talk yourself out of it and you go, oh no, I probably would have just lost a lot of money. There's no point. And then that then becomes another echo to say, I should never try anything else new in my life. Just listen and go when you hear what you've heard, effectively.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a speed thing, I don't personally believe, but it's a trust thing. Because if you trust, you'll just go at your own natural pace anyway, which is in that general direction. I don't think it's speed, I think it's trust. We need to listen, be quiet, listen, and trust ourselves more.
Yes. Oh man, mic drop. Now, Charlene, before we straight up end before we end this live broadcast, give our audience a little quick call to action. What's the best way that they could connect with you?
The best way to connect with me is on Instagram. It's at Gemstone London. That's GEM Stone as in Stone London. No spaces. Gemstone London. And the website is gemstonelove.co.uk. All of the gems are in shop, but I do put blogs there as well. But the easiest way to get me is Gemstone London on Instagram. And it's Gemstone Love UK on Facebook. But those are the easiest ways to get to me, and then there's links to the website and things like that as well. So come say hi.
Yeah, no, I'm actually typing I'm typing all this in the comment section in Facebook. Gemstone Love UK in Facebook, at Gemstone London in Instagram, and it's like gemstonelove.co.uk. Yes?
Yes.
I have this by heart.
Yes. Thank you. It's a popular term, so they weren't available everywhere, but you make do.
Yeah. Gemstonelove.co.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, so yeah, no, it'll be fun. I check out her website. I'm starting to. I've been reading up on Amazonite. I saw your. Well, I was in the background of your live broadcast last Sunday, and ever since I've been thinking about Amazonite. So yeah,
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 I forget. There was a lot that happened that Sunday.
yeah,
Gosh. But
yeah.
yeah. So yeah, come say
There you
hi.
go. All right. Yeah. Well, that's it. Charlene, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate that. And I
Thank
appreciate that,
you.
you have been an awesome, not have been, but you are an awesome friend. You've inspired me as a person. You've got me to get over my limiting beliefs. Like I said, if you didn't wake me up, if you didn't kind of gave me a boost, then Entrepreneur in Spotlight would not be here. I wouldn't be actually be pursuing the things that I love, which is connecting, building relationships, making friends. So thank you. As I said last Sunday, there is never enough thank you. I could never say enough thank yous to you for doing that. And yeah, and to everyone that joined us,
Yes,
thank you so much. I love you guys. I appreciate you and thank you for coming in. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. I'll be sharing the replay of this broadcast later on today. So watch out if you missed it. Well, chances are if you missed it, you're already watching me say this. Never mind. So,
well, it was
so
an
yeah.
honor, Judith. Seriously.
Yeah.
Thank you for this. Bearing in mind we're friends, I was still nervous, which is nuts.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I did it, and I'm thankful that you asked me, and I'm thankful that you're my friend because I've needed you with this, and we rock. I think. So, yeah.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Aw, thanks, Charlene. I appreciate you saying that. And yeah, we'll say goodbye to Facebook now. It's time for our private mastermind here. Later, Facebook. We'll see you on the next broadcast. Talk to you later. Cheers.